Hey guys, Ezra here, and welcome back to another movie review. And before I start, I want to give you guys a quick announcement, because I did a video recently where I explained that I will be moving everything back to this channel. So from now on, I will be doing movie reviews on this channel again. I used to do this for a very long time, but I decided to make a second channel because I thought that it would be better for the YouTube algorithm. But that didn't really work, because recently my second channel barely had any activity. There's barely any views, and for the most part, the videos has 0 views, so it's really bad, and making movie reviews is the one videos that I actually put some more effort to compared to reaction videos, because obviously reaction videos, you just film it and then you upload that and then people watch that, which I'm really, really grateful for that. But I wanted to do movie reviews, I still passionate about movies. I want to talk about them, so that's why I decided to do this in the first place. But yeah, I'm moving up the content back into this channel. You guys can watch my previous videos to more detail explanation, I guess. But yeah, anyway, from that out of the way, let's just review M3GAN 2.0, shall we? Now, this is obviously a sequel to the first movie, M3GAN, and M3GAN is like I think it's a very popular movie back in the day, and we all can see why, because I think she's just a fun characters and she's very campy, so like it's a campy sci-fi horror movies, and I absolutely love that. It's not for everyone, because I think people are expecting a bit more from the first movie, but the first movie I thought that it's gonna be, oh, it's gonna be an origin movie for M3GAN, and then in the sequel they're gonna go hard with the horror and the slasher and the kills, right? Well, the kills, yeah, sure, bigger, yeah, but the tone is very different. Like it's still campy like the first one, but there is no slasher element here. Because I think this movie, it's literally Terminator 2. So that's what they do with the second movie. They just made an action movie. And I know this because the trailer and the leaks literally talks about how M3GAN is gonna become the good guy in this movie, and then we're gonna have a new villain called named Amelia, played by Ivana Shekno, um, and she's gonna be the villain in this movie, and M3GAN is gonna be the good guy. And seeing from the trailer and all that kind of stuff, it's pretty clear that this is just gonna be a really fun and campy action movie. And honestly, I'm probably in the minority here, but I am a bit disappointed that the sequel actually goes bigger, has way more kills, but it's not horror. It's not slasher, and I was disappointed by that. Because I thought that is, I kind of wish that this movie was more of like a Child's Play 2 scenario. Where in the second movie, Chucky just like, again, from the beginning of the movie, becomes alive and then starts killing people just to get to Annie Barclay, right? And I was kind of hoping that similar scenario with M3GAN 2 here, but that's not the case. M3GAN is the good guy, and this is essentially becoming Terminator 2, which I'm don't know how to feel about that, but like always, I will talk about the positive aspect about the movie first, and then we're gonna get to the negative aspect about the movie. So for the positive, M3GAN herself, I think she's amazing. She's a diva. Like she's just still looking really, really amazing. I love the effects to bring her alive. I love the physical performance by Amy Donald, which is returning from the first one, and of course, Jenna Davis, which is the voice of M3GAN. Like they're both great. I love that. I also like the performance by the actors, like Allison Williams, who plays Gemma, violetmcgraw, who plays Katie, and then you got two of the co-workers named Cole and Tess. They're amazing. They're amazing side characters. They're really, really fun, and I love that. And Amelia herself, I think, is a bit of a mixed bag, but I think Ivana Shekno was able to portray her to be this like kind of menacing villain, well, kinda, but also kinda hot in a way. And I absolutely love that, And also Jermaine Clement is in this movie, and he's also really, really great. He's a fun side character as well. Every single time he appears, he always had a personality. Like he's really, really a fun performers as well. Um, Also the action sequence, because again, this is an action movie, so the action sequence are pretty fun, when they appear on the screen. I think the action sequence are pretty well choreographed. I gotta give props to Amy Donald, and then maybe someone, maybe there is like other people who in that M3GAN suit, who knows? But if not, then wow, props to Amy Donald for performing that fight scene, between her and Amelia, and between her and like some security guards, which I absolutely love that. And yeah, I also love the visual of this movie. I think this movie is way bigger and opening up so many more ideas for the M3GAN universe. So overall, I think this movie is a really fun action movie. But there is some other parts that I do not like about this movie, which honestly the plot. Because I think the plot is like very cheesy and very campy, but also doesn't make a ton of sense, at times. Like the main villain in this movie is also really weird. Like I thought that Amelia was the main villain, but no, there is another villain in this movie, and it doesn't really work, And I don't know why they didn't just use Amelia as the main villain, because like she is still the villain in this movie. She's still bad. But there is like another villain besides Amelia, and that part was like, I don't really like that, especially their reasoning for why the characters decide to did this, to our characters. Like it doesn't make any sense to me. I understand, I guess, like the goal and the message of this movie. I think it's kind of obvious. It's about AI, and it's about how we need to embrace. Well, I guess like not embrace, but I guess like not denying AI, because like it or not, it's still gonna develop. So it's our job to keep it like civil and try to teach the AI to do the best as they can, and they kind of make a point about M3GAN as well. Why in the first movie she went bad because of Gemma negligence. It was actually Gemma's fault that she's actually turning bad. And in the second one, they tried to make her the good guy, and I think they did a good job to make me sympathize with M3GAN, and you understand the decision that she made in this movie. And that's pretty much becoming the message of the movie, which I like. But the main villain motivation is like, I understand why you wanted to achieve that, but the way he wanted to achieve that is so weird, and it's just like, man, Amelia should just be the only villains, and it should have been fine. But for some reason, the movie decided to try to complex the narrative a little bit, try to act a bit smarter than it is, and I think that kind of like brings the movie down a bit. And yeah, and you kind of have to wait for half the movie until M3GAN actually show up, in physical form, and then you see some action sequence, because the moment she was in the scene, and then like she's trying to infiltrate like a facilities, and there is some action sequence there, it was fun. Again, the action is really, really fun. The visual is great. But I do think it takes some time to get to there, and I kind of wish this was a horror movie. I kind of wish this is like a Child's Play 2 scenario, where M3GAN, instead of Chucky, M3GAN will be the main villain from the very beginning, because the first one is an origin story, so she was there from the movie, but I feel like she's still, basically building her mind and her ideas, I guess in her existence in a way, and then in the end of the first movie, that's where she turns bad. And I thought in the sequel that, it will be obvious that M3GAN is going to be evil from the very beginning, and that's what some people are expecting, but that's not the case. And I don't know, man, for me, I was disappointed by that. Especially there is some shot in the trailer that you see in the final trailer. There is a shot where M3GAN was inside like a box or something like that, and it's really weird, because I think you don't really see the shot in the movie. Like, again, I read in Wikipedia that apparently there is some, like some post-credit scenes, I think, and there is like one post-credit scene apparently, and there is some sneak peek for the next spin-off for M3GAN called Soulmate with an 8. So I'm like, okay, sure, I'm looking forward to that, I guess. But yeah, I didn't really stay for the post-credit scenes, so I have no idea if there's actually a post-credit scene or not. Or it's just like a sneak peek for Soulmate. I don't know. Maybe this scene that you see in the trailer, where M3GAN was in the box, which is kind of like reminding me of Chucky, the good guy doll in the box, like it is, except this one is like 10 times bigger, and it was actually M3GAN, like I thought it was like, oh, when I see that in the final trailer, I thought I was like, oh, like maybe at some point M3GAN is gonna, turn bad and start killing people, because it kind of feels that way from the trailer, but that's not the case, because that scene was nowhere to be found in the movie. So maybe they saved it for the post-credit scene, or maybe it was entirely deleted from the movie, because I don't know. I think seeing M3GAN in that box and kind of feels like a Child's Play scenario there, like a Chucky scenario. I like that, but sadly that did not happen in the movie. So yeah, it was disappointing, man. I kind of wish this was a horror movie franchise instead of like an action sequence, because I'll be honest, man. What I want to I want to see M3GAN 3, but I'm really hoping that the third movie just turn this into a horror. But with this the storytelling that they told in this movie, I don't know if M3GAN was capable to turning bad again in part 3. I don't know, man, because I think this movie is pretty definitive that M3GAN is becoming the good guy, and I do think the plot did a good job to make me believe that M3GAN can turn into a good guy and kind of make me sympathize with her. So I don't know if the third movie is possible for making M3GAN into the bad guy again. I don't think that's possible. So yeah, I'm kind of concerned, man, because I think if they make a third movie, this might just be turning into like an action movie, kind of like the Terminator franchise, where the first one is the only one that feels like a sci-fi horror, and then the sequel's just becoming an action movie. So that's what I'm afraid that the M3GAN franchise is becoming like that. It's already becoming like that with the second movie. So like, is the third movie is gonna be like another action movie and another spy action movie of M3GAN? Like, I'm not looking forward to that. I kind of wish this was a horror movie. And yeah, I think this is still a fun action movie. I still enjoy my time watching it. There is some good moments and good counters moment in the movie as well. The fight scene, like I said, is amazing. But I just wish this was a horror movie, man. I just want to see M3GAN killing people with a paper cutter, like in the first movie did. And they're gonna have her in the poster holding a paper cutter, but they don't. But she doesn't even use that as a weapon in this movie, so that's kind of disappointing. But yeah, either way, it's a fun movie, but I kind of wish it was a horror movie instead. That's my opinion, and that's my gist for the M3GAN franchise. And there is gonna be a spin-off in January called Soulmate, so I guess we'll see about that. So yeah, like, guys, let me know your opinions in the comment section below. Like, what do you guys think about M3GAN 2.0? Do you guys like this movie, or do you guys, really didn't like how the franchise direction is going, because I kind of wish this was a horror slasher franchise, kind of akin to Child's Play franchise, the Chucky franchise. I kind of wish that M3GAN is like the modern version of Chucky, but that's not the case, and I was disappointed by that, but still, maybe you actually like the direction where the franchise is going, where it's becoming an action franchise, kind of like the Terminator, so either way, let me know your opinions in the comment section below. And if you guys enjoyed this review, then make sure to guys, slash the subscribe and like button, share the videos, usual stuff, and stay tuned for more movie reviews in the future. And again, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys in the next one then. Bye.